connected to iPhone.
Only $4.99? Saving this big dessert? Nice!
Владимирович, еще раз спасибо большое, что пришли к нам, очень рада вас в нашем новом доме. Здесь было, чего-то не хватало, сейчас теперь стало теплее, уютнее. Но вот меня представили как боевого корреспондента. Некоторые считают, что репортеры вообще все это солдаты, бойцы невидимого фронта. Вот действительно, в последние 2 года приходилось ездить на фронт видимый. Много работ.
Kenneth English.
Got one strand, a little bit of another strand. Fuck is my grinder? I can't even find my lighter. Supposed to get higher with nothing to make a flame. Desire that pain and passion. The game is lasting too long. I'm insane in my brain. I'm just asking like, why do I gotta stay high? Why do I gotta stay high? A product of environment, yeah. That weed, I be buying it. Ever since a teen, I was trying it. I'm eyeing it. That fat sack, that greenback, that blunt, yeah, I like that. But why do I stay high? But why do I stay high? Yeah. But why do I stay high? So I found my grinder and I found my lighter. I'm about to get higher. Why do I stay high? Product of environment. So why do I stay high, man? Why do I stay high? I got my grinder. And then I found my lighter. And that's my desire. So why do I stay high? And why do I stay high? Cause it alleviates the pressure and the strain and the stress that I be feeling every day. And on my chest I try to blow off that good ass weed smoke. Yeah, the same thing that we spoke about yesterday. Trying to make a change, but I can't see the sky. Cause that shit is always gray and it's always pouring rain. And precipitation on my brain. So I got my grinder and my lighter. I got my grinder and my lighter. So why do I stay high? I might have to add that beat to the list. Ooh, put that beat on the beat list. And then I'll take it back off in a couple days. Cause I'll be like, that beat corny as hell. You know? So why do I stay high? So why do I stay high?
Go bold. Tenfold. 10 cheesy sliders, only $7.99.
Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like oh yeah. You gotta pay for it. You want this beat? You gotta pay for it. Like damn, Trap, why you be tapping your grinder so hard? So I can shake all of that shit out right there. Ooh, boy. You want some? I don't think you really want none of that shit. Yeah. Cause I smoke like Chief Keef. Cause I smoke like Chief Keef, man. Yeah. And I got it underneath in the bottom of the ground. I got about a gram of that. Bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that. Bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that. Bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that. Keef. Bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that. Bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that. Keef. Bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that. Bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that. Keef. Ooh, boy, at the bottom of the ground, I got about a gram of that Keef, boy. I'm just looking at something that's so nice right now. Ooh.
If you press that button, you are in very, very big.
I had my lighter, and I lost that bitch. Now I gotta find it again. Cause everything's set up for the win, and I just need a flame so I can put the shit in there. Yo, word up though? Word up, yo. I swear I just had that lighter. Oh my fucking god. Yeah. I just had a lighter. Now I can't find it. Man, I just had a lighter. Oh, I see it fell behind the PlayStation. Trying to hide my shit, God. I can't wait. About to blow my brain, cause it's early morning waking bake, yeah. With that art and education, man, no complications, man, cause we always elevating, man, take it from the nation, like, lighter, bong, put them together. Just lost my lighter. Now I gotta find it. I just lost my lighter. Yeah. Now I gotta find it. Yeah. Cause a lighter plus a bong equals a dope ass song. That's a dope ass song. Yeah. A lighter plus a bong. That's a dope ass song. Yeah. A lighter plus a bong. Yeah. Now that's a dope ass song. Let's get these fucking bubbles popping. Man, let's get these fucking bubbles popping. Yeah, cause when my bubbles start to popping, the smoke come out. The smoke come out. Yeah. Get these bubbles popping. Got the smoke come out. I can light it in the bone. Yeah. A lighter in the bone. Yeah, a lighter in the bone. Get them bubbles popping. Cause when my bubbles pop, then the smoke come out. Yeah, get them bubbles popping. Cause when my bubbles pop, then the smoke come out. Have you ever had a smoke-filled bubble?
New Listerine Sensitivity gives you lasting protection from tooth sensitivity. With first-of-its-kind protection, it blocks tooth sensitivity.
Oh, bitch, that's one of them commercials you won't let me skip. How you not let me skip a commercial? I don't want to buy your product. Yo, this space heater is hot as fuck in here right now, man. Yeah, that little box, that little fire box, that shit be kicking off some goddamn heat, boy. I don't know, it might just be me. I just might be that hot. Ah, that's a pun intended. Skip that. Man, this weed too strong. Boy. Man, this weed too strong. What strand is that? That shit come from Afghanistan? Man, this weed too strong. Ooh. Man, this weed too strong. But I'ma keep smoking anyway. But I'ma keep smoking anyway. But I'ma keep smoking anyway. Strong. Man, this weed too strong. But I'ma keep smoking anyway. But I'ma keep smoking anyway. But I'ma keep smoking anyway. Yeah, cause I'ma smoke until my lungs turn black. But they won't give me cancer, and the doctors told me that. Cause this marijuana actually good for your health. It helps your eyesight, man, it helps your mental health. Cause it really relaxes you, takes away the pain. So I smoke it when I have a migraine. When my back start to hurt, when my feet really hurt, then I get me a Dutch and I roll up that perp. If I can't get an appetite, you know what I do. Man, I pack this fucking bong, then I get the munchies too. Now I'm eating, I'm really gaining weight. Man, no stressing, I really meditate. Cause this weed is too strong. But I'm gonna smoke it anyway. This weed is too strong. But I'm gonna. Man, this weed too strong. But I'm gonna smoke it anyway. 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 Strong. This weed too strong. This weed too strong. Strong. Where'd you get that shit from? Afghanistan? This weed too strong. I'm gonna smoke it anyway. I'm gonna smoke it anyway. I'm gonna smoke it anyway. Strong. This weed too strong. The doctor said it won't give me cancer.
At Firehouse subs are hot, hearty, and extraordinary. Every sub helps provide life-saving equipment for first responders. Introducing the new pastrami.
Yeah. I'm just chilling, bro. I'm fucking around, man. I'm actually about to work on this blue canvas right here, and start on so everything is basically one layer of paint right now, except the face and the neck right here. So I did put a second layer of paint on that yesterday. So now I'm gonna try to put a second layer of paint on this hand of the actual person sitting there, and right here is a little bit of finger sticking out.
I just want to work my way through the skin tones first. The the image that's on the canvas, I may leave it rough and kind of raw looking like that, as if the artist himself is, putting the first layer of paint. So I don't want this painting to have the level of detail that this painting does. I want this to look more complete, more finished, more three-dimensional, and have the image that he's painting still have the feeling that it's in the beginning phases, so you can actually see on the same canvas a rough painting and a finished painting. And even the pants right here, I think I just might leave the rough sketch lines like that and not even add any more detail to that. But so what skin tone is left for the second coat probably isn't going to take a little more than an hour, and right after that I'll just hop into the articles of clothing here, with the red and gray shirt, and see how far I can get through that before I take a break. and and then just work my way through the clothes with the blue jeans and the boots, and then I'll work on the background a little bit, trying to get more details in the light uh, that's being cast on the easel itself, and the little not reflections, but highlights this on the chairs. So this is it's cool because I haven't really done, like, I paint myself a lot, but this is kind of a iconic Norman Rockwell type feel to it, and so I'm actually happy that I'm doing this piece because it's my actual shit. It's me and sitting in my chair with my easel, and I like it. It's coming out cool as hell so far. And so this is the third and final installment of the Dank series. Uh, the green Dank canvas is complete. The yellow Dank canvas is complete. And so we're just gonna work our way through the blue Dank canvas for the next couple days. Hopefully I can finish this in a week or so. And jumping into another 3-piece self-portrait series. So you're just gonna see me paint myself for a while. To do. I wanted to look up whatever this shit is with why is everybody trolling Kanye West right now? I don't really. I guess he said something about 21 hours ago, 3 days ago. Alright, 21 hours ago. Let's see what this says. Oh, appreciate it, bro. Yeah, man, check out some of my links, yo. You can see my whole like portfolio of art on Instagram or my Facebook. These paintings right here, I like them a lot. They're a little more simplified than what I normally do, just because I wanted it to have like a poster type feel. And so that's why the backgrounds are pretty stark like that and just one solid color. And I've done it before, and I actually made the next series I'm going to do is going to be kind of similar. I hope people don't get tired of this shit, but I don't know. It's weird, like what I've been thinking of lately, and sometimes backgrounds make the image complete. And other times, like, I feel like you don't really need a background to distract you from the main focal point. And most of the time, I use backgrounds to just kind of hide shit. I put, yo, good morning, brother. What's up, man? Most of the time, I use backgrounds to try to, like, hide little shit sometimes. And so it's fun. But right now, I just want to, like, do some more conceptual ideas instead of like having a whole of more than expanding just on the visuals, just to have it more simplified and focus on the concept itself. And so that's what I was really trying to do with this is, you know, with the end of prohibition on marijuana, you know, is rapidly spreading across the United States, and I can only speak for what's happening right now in the U.S. because this is the only country I've ever lived in, but you know, we've had a prohibition on marijuana for decades, and it seems like society's attitude towards the plant and the understanding and science behind the plant and the negative aspects and the positive aspects, as well as the medicinal usage for the plant, is changing in our culture, and people aren't demonizing it the way they did, you know, several decades ago. And so now, after this, you know, decades and decades of the war on drugs that literally ruined families and shattered families and ruined lives of hundreds of thousands of people, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like, it's kind of not so bad to be a pothead, you know, because everybody knows that, you know, these dispensaries, these grow operations, and these are really smart, educated guys. These are hedge fund managers who are investing in this market because they see the potential for the economic growth and development in this area of agriculture. And so once again, like I say, the attitude towards it is changing. So all before, it was like, you know, oh, you know, at the worst times, it was like, oh, weed, you know, it makes Mexicans and black men want to rape white women, and they go crazy. We gotta illegalize this substance. And it was like, no, bro, you're lying. You know. And then it was, you know, once that fear mongering died down slightly, then it was like, well, you know, the pot smoker is the unachieved person who you know is whose mind is underdeveloped because you know marijuana impedes the growth of your brain and all this other shit. So you just wind up being some lazy ass deadbeat uh, who just fucking suckles on the teat of society doing nothing and contributing nothing. And that was the idea of, you know, potheads for a long time. And then now it's like, it's hip. It's cool. We got pot yoga. You know what I'm saying? We have a cafe with infused pot. Come talk to our batistas. And it's like, how, but how can you fix what you've already done and shit? And then plus, you don't see that same stereotype anymore. You know, because a motherfucker could be a dope ass artist and still smoke a little bit. This motherfucker could own his own print shop, you know what I'm saying? Be an independent businessman and still smoke a little bit. Or he could be some video game developer. You never know. You know what I'm saying? And smoke a little bit. Fire wire. So, but this is the first time I've ever like went like used myself with this shit. Cause she's actually, you can see that she's rolling up right there. So I have incorporated it into my art a couple of times. There's another piece where you can see it in there, but I've never put myself in it. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just put myself out there. Probably lose my job over this shit. No, you fired me over my art. I'm a smoker regardless. Travis, one of our employees went to your show and said that had some art that was well, let's just say this: we need you to take a drug test. For what? It's just random. You know, your name was picked. No, that's it. Oh. Damn, I should have brought something to drink up here. Bro, I'm fried. I'm fried like hell. How tall am I? 5'9", something like that. I may be squeezing out a quarter inch or some shit. I might be 5'8" and goddamn 3/4 or some shit. I don't know. I say it says I'm 5'9" on my license. So damn, that's crazy. No, I'm not married. Damn, this dude, you trying to date me, bro? How tall are you? Are you married? I'm fucking with you, homie. Damn, Fight White. So man, my man getting personal this one. Oh shit. No, I'm not married. I believed in marriage at one time, but now I really don't, man. That shit just a contract, yo. For the government to watch your ass. They give you a couple little perks on your taxes, but that shit don't really mean nothing, man. That goddamn marriage certificate, man, fuck all that shit. Bruh. Even man, that shit's so fucking new compared to the history of even in long monogamous relationships throughout history, because
for the most part throughout history, relationships really weren't monogamous. You know what I'm saying? It was real alpha males, and most of the time, even in like the feudal situation, motherfucker, the king had more than one chick. Even peasants, everybody, motherfucker, just had more than one wives. Yo, a lot of African cultures, man, was, you know, more than one wives. That shit was kind of like natural. But then I don't know, like once colonization happened, we got now everybody kind of going to European standard, and even European kings had more than one wives. Also, I don't know. I don't really understand how it got to the point where it just be like, oh, like one man and one woman. But anyway, besides all that shit, man, you know what I'm saying? All that shit lead up to goddamn all that shit all before, man. You ain't had to sign no papers for that shit. Motherfuckers been in relationships for thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? And for thousands of years. I mean, to get out of some of them, you probably got your head chopped off or some shit like that. Or you had to give up a bunch of cattle or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Terms to the agreements and shit. But it still wasn't no piece of paper involved in that shit, man. Getting married nowadays and just signing a fucking contract with the judge, like, fuck that shit. Yeah, it's weird, the whole marriage license, and I've never looked into like details about getting married, because I know very few people who are married. Actually, I know a lot of divorced motherfuckers though, like, and that's what scares me. Like, like in the past 5 years, I know like 5 different people who've gotten divorced. One of my homies was living in Colorado. Man, all us grew up together and shit. So me and my other homie, we in South Carolina. We like, yeah, finally somebody in Colorado, bro. We gonna come visit you, and we gonna go to the Cannabis Cup and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? We talked about that shit for a couple years, and then we finally got that shit together. Like, all right, bro, next year we about to make this trip happen. We gonna come up there, stay with you for like a week or two. You know what I'm saying? Just chill. And goddamn, that same year he got divorced. He moved back home. I'm like, damn, dude, why you just still ain't stay in Colorado? You had the house and everything. Oh, fuck that shit. Da 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 da. I'm like, damn. And then just last year, one of my homies, he divorced his wife. He went to the court and got divorce papers. And then told his wife, I don't want to be with you no more. I was like, yo. And then like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, a dude I used to work with, he was a foreman, this was like, as soon as I first started working there, in the first couple months, I already see his attitude. He always mad at work and shit. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck be wrong with you? He's like, man, I'm going through some shit with my wife, blah, 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 blah. And then within like a few months after that, him and his wife getting divorced. I'm like, bruh, everybody, that shit don't be lasting forever, man. That's all it is, yo. And then even my girlfriend, her parents divorced. You know what I'm saying? They both remarried, but you know what I'm saying? That shit don't work out all the time. People change, people grow, and people can grow apart. You know what I'm saying? If that shit take 5 years, 10 years, 15 years sometimes, motherfuckers be together 15 years and then realize, look, man, I want something different. You know what I'm saying? And then getting out of the contract, that shit is super fucking hard, yo. It's like, now you gotta get the courts and lawyers involved in the goddamn divorce, but y'all gotta be separated for this amount of time before this can happen, and alimony, child support, mortgage. It's like, god damn, man. Like, no, it's like, nah. I love you to death. I stay with you as long as me and you in love, and we can work this thing out, and handle our finances and do everything as a goddamn team. Shit, I'm rocking with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not signing no damn paper to say that I'm gonna do that. No. That shit a fucking game, yo. That shit is a goddamn game. Everything is a fucking game, man. Yeah, any kind of contract you sign, man, that shit is a game.
Introduce.
Now you think about this.
Now you play some games on a court, on a goddamn like a basketball court or tennis court. You know what I'm saying? And then when you sign contracts and shit, you gotta go to a place called a court. Anytime you gotta go to a court, you know you about to play a fucking game. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know all the rules to the games, cause they be playing different games on the same court. You know what I'm saying? It may be goddamn table tennis where it's real small, but you still gotta know the rules of that shit and know how to maneuver. Or it might be regular tennis where it's real big and you better really be in that bitch, yo. So anytime you go to court, you about to play a game. And so I try to stay away from them games as much as possible. You know what I'm saying? I don't like going to court. I'm a goddamn artist, not an athlete. I ain't trying to sit here and play all this shit with y'all. Fuck that shit.
The new pastrami Reuben with our sweet and tangy
fuck your pastrami Reuben, man. If I want that shit, I'll go get one where I want it. Kanye West started a firestorm when he tweeted, "What? Since the following artist fans chimed in on social media in a recent tweet from Chinese rapper that came out to support Kanye West. Chances are tough black people don't have their Democrats. Next president gonna be independent." What? Actually, tweet started began Tuesday and carried into Wednesday. You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make you bluff, and we are both dragon energy. What? Wait. I gotta read this whole thing. Wait a minute. You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. We are both dragon energy. He is my brother. I love everyone. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought. Didn't Kanye West say George Bush don't like black people? So this is what everybody is talking about, yo. I just hit Facebook a little bit last night, and it was like, Kanye West this, Kanye West that, Kanye West this, and then somebody was like, Jay-Z need to go ahead and do Kanye like Lenny did George. I was like, what the fuck? That's why I don't really pay attention to celebrities and shit, but motherfuckers, everybody getting all, this what everybody but heard about, because he tweeted, this was the first tweet he made, I guess. If your friend jump off the bridge, you don't have to do the same. Ye being ye is a fight for you to be you. For people in my life, the idea of Trump is pretty much a 50-50 split, but I don't tell a Hillary supporter not to support Hillary. I love Hillary too.
You got John Legend saying something about this shit, yo. Kanye is retarded. He's crazy. I heard he wore a skirt at one of his concerts with Jay-Z. Yo, this is what I say about Kanye. You gotta look at him before his mom died and after his mom died. Well, this is how it went, yo. Kanye was cool. Kanye was the man until his mom died. And that shit really fucked with him, yo. Like, that shit really fucked with him real bad, yo. And he started to change a little bit, yo. And then he married that Kardashian chick. Yo, what's up about them Kardashian bitches, yo? These days, they get these niggas and I don't know, man. What's the other dude? So one dude was fucking one of them, and then she left him, and then got pregnant for some rapper dude, and then one of the bitches was fucking a basketball player. What his name was, and he almost OD'd at a motherfucking brothel. And now you got Kanye just talking about I love Trump. Yo. Damn. Yo, how you got John Legend beefing on you, dude? This motherfucker's a singer. Damn. Yo, John Legend said, I love that great, brilliant artists have the power to imagine a better future. But artists can be blind to the truth. I imagine there's some comfort in imagining a future without racism and projecting that onto the present. Thinking if we just deny the truth, it doesn't exist. As history is erased, we don't have to deal with the consequences. However, far too many people don't have the luxury of closing their eyes and ears. They feel it in their lives and can't act like what they seen and know doesn't exist. They know their families was destroyed by deportation, incrimination. They know that the loved ones had denied safe harbor because this thing keep popping up of their religion. They know their sons and daughters were shot because the color of their skin evoked fear. Damn, John Legend going in on this dude. And they got Kanye wearing a Make America Great Again hat signed by Trump. I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, I haven't listened to Kanye in a long time. So and Ray J. Oh yeah, I forgot about that sex tape. Yo, like, y'all remember that shit on his show? Like, he was on. Was it For the Love of Ray J? Or it was on another like panel show. It was weird because it was him and a lot of other people at the end. Somebody said something about this and that, and Ray J said like he was like, nigga, I ain't got no little dick. You can Google my dick. I was like, damn. You tell the motherfucker that, nigga, you can Google my dick. Yeah.
I never get that motherfucker said that shit. Yo, what the hell? But what I was saying, oh yeah. So Kanye, I'm gonna do this. Kanye West. Oh, never mind. It should be here. So his discography. I listened to his first 3 albums. I listened to the College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation. If I guess from 808s and Heartbreaks, I probably heard like the singles that came off of there, but I've never listened to that entire album. My Beautiful Dark Twisted something, never listened to that entire album. Yeezus, never listened to that entire album. The Life of Pablo, never listened to that shit. Like, I don't know. I haven't listened to Kanye in 4 albums. Confederate flag, what? What's wrong with it? Because to me, supporting the Confederate flag is like supporting a fucking Nazi flag. And the Nazis took the swastika from like Japan, and Japan took that shit from Africa, and it's basically the infinity sign. It means it's kind of like it means like peace and everlasting peace, basically. And that's what they were trying to use it for, as a positive thing. They knew it was a positive symbol that mean, everlasting peace forever, eternity. And so that's how they wanted their right to be. He said he was going to form a right that would last for 1,000 years, some shit like that. But it turned out the world demonized that image and that symbol of, because what he did, and he lost. They lost. And so now, yeah, we know what it is, we know what it stands for, and that shit is a part of history, and it's in museums somewhere. Germans don't ride around with fucking swastikas on their fucking swastika flags on their goddamn cars and shit, because it's done, it's in the past. Now, the Confederate flag, what people don't understand, it's not even American. That's what people, well, what's wrong with America supporting the Confederate flag? They weren't Americans. That's the whole point. that's the whole point of this shit. They separated themselves from the Union. They said, look, you're America and we're the Confederacy. We're the Confederate States. We're not a part of America. We don't want to be a part of America. We're done with your Union. Your laws and regulations are bullshit, and we're not going to follow that shit. We, the people of the South, in the Dixie States of the Confederacy, we are going to govern ourselves, and we're going to have our own president and our own constitution. And we will go to war with America to defend our freedom and our rights. And they went to war, and they lost. They lost. You lost, bro. You're done. It didn't work out the way you wanted it to. Okay, we all know what happened. We all know what the Confederate flag means. It's a part of history. Put it in the fucking museum. Don't keep making new flags. What companies are printing these shits up? Where do they still come from? Like, stop it. Stop it. They lost. They weren't even American. It wasn't America. It was the Confederate States, and they lost the war. Put this shit in the museum. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. People say, it stands for pride. It stands for pride. It doesn't stand for pride, bitch. It stands for high treason. You know what I'm saying? That's high treason. I don't get it. I don't get how people don't see that shit with that Confederate flag shit, yo. That's like so easy. Bitch, you lost. Nobody not
making statues of Hitler and all that shit over there in Germany. They lost. He was a bad dude. Bad dudes lost. You know what I'm saying? All right, put that shit in the past. You know what I'm saying? No. In America, gotta make America great again. Like 1950s. Everybody had a home. Everybody had a job. Everybody had retirement savings. And there was still segregation. That's what really made America great. Keep them niggers in their place. These presidents, you getting soft. You done let one of the monkeys into the White House. Thank God he ain't do nothing like reparations. Shit. Finally, Trump. I love some Trump. He gonna make America great again.
Crazy day for Bill Cosby. Whoopsies.
Hey, I'm reeling in that news, man.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going to happen because the first one was a mistrial. Is that what happened?
Yeah, but what's the difference between this one? Is this a civil suit or is this?
I think these aren't civil.
This was the retrial, so you got convicted of
Nice.
felony.
Three charges, right?
Felony sexual assault, 3 different counts. Each one carries
from 30 years ago.
10 years. He could go to jail for 30 years, which is death for him. I mean, he's
already blind.
Yeah, he's very. Yeah, he can barely see, right?
Good. I'm so happy that he's getting charged at the end of his life. That's amazing.
He's a creepy dude.
He liked to have sex with lifeless dead bodies.
Yeah, we were trying. I mean, purely speculation, right? Like, what would cause someone to want to do that? Like, what? But I have this theory. I think a lot of people did that shit in the 60s. I think in the 60s it was a normal thing to drug people. And I think they, remember the terms, you've heard it, slipping someone a Mickey? Yeah. I think they used to do that all the time back then, and they didn't think anything of it.
It's disgusting.
People are fucking gross. If you just go back a couple of 100 years, like I'm watching this show Vikings. It's a great show, by the way. I don't know if you ever watched it. No. But, they were obviously fucking crazy people. They did wild shit. But it was common. I mean, this was how people lived. They would storm into villages and kill everybody. This was normal shit just 1,000 years ago or so. And I think if you go back just 100 years, the way people treated each other was horrific. If you go back 50 years ago, that's Bill Cosby's era. I mean, I really think that people back then were different. They didn't have the internet. They didn't understand how other people were viewing their activity. They thought they could hide this activity. And I think there was a group of people, specifically, partiers, that would...
I like Joe Rogan, yo. And I won't stop listening to him, but I don't agree with this shit. I really think, man, Bill Cosby had money for a long time, man. Motherfucker can buy the pussy. You can buy the pussy. That's the only thing I don't understand. That's the main thing they always catch the black man on is rape. I try to get the black man on. Tupac, Tyson, Kobe Bryant. What's the one guy who made the movie Birth of a Nation? Try to get him on rape charges. They just like that's the main thing. It's like rape. He raped her. Bill Cosby, rape. Like, come on, man. That's mystical. Rape. They always try to get a motherfucker on rape, yeah. And these motherfuckers with money. All these motherfuckers got money. Kobe Bryant had money since he came into the league as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker, by the time those allocations came out, that motherfucker had super bank. Motherfucker ain't gotta rape nobody, but I can buy the pussy. I can do the Tiger Woods. You know what I'm saying? You know, I do the Tiger Woods on their ass. Buy that shit. I just don't believe, like, even back then, okay, yeah, it's a different time.
yeah, no internet. I can understand that, and you know, certain crimes were easier to get away with back then, but still, like, I just bought. If I want the bitch that bad, I got the money. I just buy the pussy. Wait, the Bill, man, come on, man. I don't think Bill Cosby was like raping no bitches like that, yo. When he made Fat Albert, you think a motherfucker make Fat Albert gonna go out and rape motherfuckers, man?
Would drug people. And I think it was a normal thing. I think there's probably a lot of people out there.
That's not normal. Drugging people is not normal.
And they're thinking about all the times that they did it.
That is horrifying.
It's fucking scary.
And especially when you couch yourself into being this like responsible, like I'm gonna lecture all the black people. Pull up your pants.
Yeah.
Be good.
Yeah. I remember one time Wanda Sykes interviewed him at something, and he was chastising her on the way she was talking.
Wow.
Her English. And he was wearing sunglasses inside.
He's like, sorry, I'm just recovering off the raping that I just did.
I can't see people. I can't look you in the eyes. I'm all raped out.
How many victims are there already?
Fuck, it's at least 50. It's at least 50. Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, other than insane. Weinstein, is there anyone else that's that much of a serial rapist?
See, but the Weinstein thing was like he was forcing them to have sex with him in order to give them roles.
Right.
He wasn't drugging them. It's just as creepy in a way, but it's not quite the same thing because Bill Cosby was almost like a monster.
Right.
Like he would like lure you in.
Who knows
like,
what the fuck he did to you while you're passed out for a day in his house.
Yeah, but he's also what he posed at. Like Weinstein was this fat, gross guy.
Looked like Shrek personified.
Everybody knew who he
Yeah.
was. Everybody knew. Stay the fuck away from him. Don't go up to his room.
He's a monster.
Yeah, that was the whole thing with that guy. But what Bill Cosby was with this moral voice of Black America.
Take your pants up.
Yeah, don't have those sagging jeans, using all those bad words. Do you remember what we were talking about before? Do you remember the Eddie Murphy thing? Where he called up, Eddie Murphy had it in his movie, Raw, right? It was in Raw or Delirious? It might have been Delirious.
Delirious was
so good.
Fucking
so
good.
But
oh man,
he had to call up Richard Pryor. He called up Richard Pryor. See if you can find that. See if you can find that online. Eddie Murphy on Bill Cosby. Because
Richard Pryor talked shit to Bill Cosby about
that, right?
Yeah,
because Bill Cosby wasn't half the fucking comedian that Richard Pryor was, and I'm sure that bothered him. Here, play this.
Look at his outfit, damn.
A bit of Bill Cosby.
Shit, he has a good outfit on.
Yeah.
And chastised me on the phone for being too dirty on stage. It was real weird because I never met him, and he just thought it was, you should call me up because he was Bill and tell me that he did about what comedy is all about.
Yeah, this guy right here,
this man chastised me, and when Bill Cosby chastised you, you forget you grown. You feel like one of the Cosby kids and shit. I ran in the house all excited to talk to Bill and picked up the telephone, and Bill got raw on me. I was like, hello, Mr. Cosby? And you hear, I would like to talk to you. About some of the things that you do in your show.
Oh my God. Forget how good Eddie Murphy was.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm going to tell you a story. I would like to tell you a story. I have 5 children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. I live in Massachusetts with my wife Camille and my 5 children. Now, of the 5 children that we have, there are 4 girls and a boy. The boy's name is Ennis. He loves everything you do. Comes home from school the other day with a big smile on his face. And my son looks just like me. He walks through the door looking at me with this big smile. And I cannot resist. Because it's such a beautiful smile. He walks up and I say, what are you smiling about? And the child says to me, I'm smiling because I need money to go see the Eddie Murphy show. Please give me money for a ticket. Now, if the child is smiling this way because he needs money for a ticket, I have to give him money for a ticket. I do not handle the money in the house. My wife, Camille, handles the ticket money. So I must go
Is he wearing like a big
kitchen
cool
to where
scarf?
my wife is
Awesome.
cooking dinner for the family.
What is he wearing?
And she is
Motorcycle
Like that in
gloves.
the 80s? It's so
Only
dope,
him.
dude. God, I miss that.
Anyway, It is a long bit. It's like 6
I need
minutes
to
and
watch
50
that.
seconds.
So
It's great,
hilarious,
but
man.
basically he calls up Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And he goes, Richard Pryor said, "Do the people laugh? Do you get paid? Well, tell Bill to have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up." But that was real.
Take it,
Bill Cosby
Quaalude, and
really
suck
did.
it.
Really did call him up. Meanwhile, while Eddie Murphy was doing that, you got to realize this is the 80s, right? So while Eddie Murphy was doing that sketch, Bill Cosby very likely was probably raping somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
It's entirely
He's
possible.
probably raping him
Oh
as
my
he was
God.
on
It's
stage.
entirely possible.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan just went full sheeple just now.
And Peeblers never skip on fudge.
Look, Trump has a lot of enemies because he's scorched earth. Like, he pissed a lot of people off. So, of course, you have tons of people who hate him. It appears that the media is uniformly against him, but I think it's because Kanye loves him. Should we pull up that Kanye clip? Look up Vic Berger. Kanye on Ellen. This shit's nuts.
Vic Berger on Twitter? Yeah, Vic Berger's an animal.
Dude, have you seen the Ellen one where Kanye is on?
No, is this recent?
No, it's just amazing.
Oh, just something he put together?
Yeah,
Oh, let me
let's
hear
watch
this. Hold on a second. Wait, look at Ellen. Just look at his face. When was this from?
I don't know. Maybe.
We're looking at Kanye
Does Kim want more children?
make crazy faces.
No, it gets
But,
really
but
good.
you want more? Does Kim want
Jay
more?
is in the building.
Now, is this out of context?
Yeah,
or is
no,
that the real question? That can't be the real
Wait,
question.
it gets really good though. Hold on.
Okay, I'm with you.
Jay is in the building.
What is he saying is in the building?
Kanye's
Ye?
in the building.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kanye's in the building. Ye's in the building.
I read this part.
What's dead?
Picasso.
Steve Jobs is dead. Walt Disney is dead.
Hmm.
I'm dead.
What? Look at Ellen.
It ain't no joke, as Rakim said.
Did you see that he wrote that he's going to be the next president? He tweeted to Harvey
good
Levin
God.
from TMZ. They called him erratic. He's like, "Please don't call me erratic. You're speaking to your next president."
Oh my God.
Mm.
Did you see Kim say, like, look, you guys, Kanye's just living in the future. In a couple of years, someone else is going to say what he does, and you're going to praise him.
Oh yeah.
It's like, really?
She's just trying to keep him home. She's like, she's going to say whatever she can, keep him from vanishing.
It's so bizarre, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I knew what was really going on. Like, Jamie thinks it's a big part of it, a big publicity stunt because he's got an album coming out. Look at him nodding.
1,000,000%.
Well, there's a huge
Interesting.
vacuum to be
That's a big
filled.
number.
All you have to do is be, a token person, and like the Joey Villa woman who was like, "All right, I'm gonna wear a Trump dress to the Grammys."
I've never
and
seen this chick on
sell some records because there is a huge vacuum
on the Joe
to be
Rogan
filled
show,
of
but
Trump
she
supporters who are
seems
looking for people like this.
There's definitely that. There's definitely that. It's fascinating to me. It's really interesting because he's changed the what's possible. This is one thing that Trump has absolutely done. Like when he won, like that changes who can be president. It really does because it's now like, okay, we know that we've already decided we're willing to elect someone that we know really probably shouldn't be doing it. So now what? Like we're just electing a famous person? So is it, who's the next famous person?
That's why people are like, well, what about Oprah?
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Well, how about fucking NBC tweeted, our president, like a speech by our
so
president.
someone gives a good fucking speech and then we should vote them into office?
Who the fuck is in control of the NBC Twitter page? Like
That's
they
insane.
wrote something about a speech from our all caps president. Like what? Wait a minute.
I thought The Rock was gonna run for a while, and then I was like, yeah, well, and then I saw that he had a big dinner with the Saudi king, and he was like, oh man, like next time I'm bringing the tequila to your house, and everyone was like, Saudi Arabia's a dry country, dude. Like, and then he was like, oh shit, and then he deleted the tweet. It's like, obviously you just drank a giant bottle of tequila with the king.
And the king's not supposed
Saudi
to
Arabia.
drink?
Yeah.
Oh.
And who else was there? Oh, Morgan Freeman, the voice of God in Hillary Clinton's soul, was with The Rock and the king of Saudi Arabia. Somehow this is cool. You know, but Bashar al-Assad is a monster, yet the king of Saudi Arabia is a cool dude who we should have dinner with. That makes sense.
Is this the young king that's trying to, like,
Yeah,
modernize
the
Saudi Arabia?
revolutionary.
Yeah, what is his deal? He's like, he locked up all those people for...
Who the hell knows? Probably to
corrupt.
consolidate power. I mean, that was the line that came out, was like, oh, he's revolutionary, he's reformist, but I mean, I think that it was just to consolidate power as a power grab, and
Someone's cynical.
Hey, come on, it's fucking Saudi Arabia, dude.
Listen, women can even drive there now, so why don't you relax? Can't they drive? Can they? They can, right? But not at night. Something like that.
Right. They still have to have their
Yeah, they
male
can't look at
guardian
men.
escort them around.
So speaking of Citizen Kane and Orson Welles and conspiracies, last night I rewatched the episode of Geraldo Rivera's Good Night America when they introduced the Zapruder, because you know Dick Gregory just died. They introduced the Zapruder film to the American public 13 years or 12 years after Kennedy's assassination. And then I went and read that paper, the articles that was printed a couple of weeks ago that you even tweeted about it, about the CIA questioning the official story of the JFK assassination.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, as a CIA guy, what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, that Zapruder film, that's the most watched piece of film in history of film.
Is it really?
Which is really interesting. Yeah, it was interesting that you know, as typical with a lot of these things, the headline doesn't necessarily actually match once you get into the body of the story. But the idea being that the agency had some concerns over the idea that perhaps Cuba was behind the assassination, or the Russians to some degree, or working more likely in a combination of the two. Look, I think, you know, do I think that he could have taken that shot? Yeah. It was not a, it was not a, I've been up in that book depository from that point, from that vantage point. We did a story on the whole issue, the conspiracy theory, and what could have happened, and we tried to find some new witnesses. And, you know, could he have made that shot? Yeah, it was a straightforward, you know, effort with someone who had some training. He was, you know, he wasn't the world's best shot, but he had sufficient training to make that shot. Now, that's separate from, you know, his motivations and any potential support that he may have gotten during the course of that. And, you know, I think that he, in his mind, he genuinely felt that this was going to get him into the revolution, right? That this was going to, he had a very unhappy experience in Russia when he was over there living, came back, saw what was happening in Cuba, desperately wanted to be part of that, took an unexplained trip down to Mexico, which could well have been in an effort to find somebody who could support his desire to take some sort of action, whether he had formed in his mind that's what he was going to do at the time or not. So, you know, is there still a possibility that the Cubans, which would the Intel service there would have had to file on him? I mean, he was a very, very well-known quantity, obviously, by that time for the Russians. The Russians were solely responsible for training up the Cuban Intel service. So there's a massive file on him, and they knew, you know, who they were dealing with. They knew his weaknesses. They knew his motivations. They knew what to do in terms of trying to get leverageable, you know, information on him. So I think that the jury's still out. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I think there's enough there that says, you know, yes, it's kind of like what we're talking about with climate change. I believe this, but this also could be true. So I think he could have taken that shot for sure, and succeeded. I think it's also possible that he may have had the encouragement of, in particular, the Cuban Intel service through the Russians. Because at that time, in particular, they didn't do anything. The Cubans didn't do anything without the Russians' support, blessings, and direction. So that is entirely possible. Do I think that there were a variety of other things at play? You know, Did they help him get the weapon? Did they? I mean, was there actual logistical support in there? I don't think so, but maybe. Yeah, it's a fascinating thing, and again, nobody wants to think that something that impactful could have been just one guy who had a dream about being a hero of the revolution. I think it's such an awful thing to think about. You want something bigger, you want something more behind it, and it's. I will say the one thing that I think there was something else to was the MLK issue of Martin Luther King assassination.
Well, let's get to that for sure. But here's the thing about the Lee Harvey Oswald assassination. A lot of people think that there was people in the grassy knoll and that they shot at the president and there was more than one shooter. That's possible too. And here's the other problem with people saying that Oswald could have never made that shot. Of course he could have. 100% he could have. Is it likely? Listen, people throw three-point shots that have no fucking business on a basketball court and they hit nothing but net. Yeah. It happens all the time. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's not likely that a guy could get off 3 shots that quick, but it is possible.
Right. There was more time in there than they originally thought. There's some misinformation out there about how condensed that time frame was, and now after they've researched this into it fairly well. That time frame extended a little bit, but more importantly, he worked up there, so he had the opportunity to recce that site, right? So it was like he was sitting in a blind waiting and figuring out, what am I going to be doing here? And that's a tremendous advantage. And clear daylight, target's moving right in a line with you. There's no wind.
Not only that, it's not that far a shot.
No, it's not.
It's not like everybody thinks it's like a half mile away or something like that. I mean, how far was it? Was it 150 yards or something like that?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and it's been
Let's find out.
But I've stood on that spot where the limo was and looked up at the site. And I stood up there and looked down, and it's not that far. And
it's a total makeable shot on a deer.
Yeah.
Like if you were going to shoot a deer with a rifle, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's definitely in my effective range.
Yeah. No, there was no.
How far is it?
There we go.
265 feet, 81 meters. That ain't shit.
Yeah.
That's a bow shot.
Yeah.
You could shoot an animal with a bow from 80 meters if you're really good and there's no wind.
Yeah.
So that's a really close shot. So the idea that he couldn't make that shot, he's a bad shot, that is so fucking stupid. He absolutely could make that shot. And then anybody could make that shot from 81 meters. That's nothing.
We looked at the grassy knoll issue. We looked at what the train yard engineer reported seeing with a sort of a puff of smoke that he thought he saw over by the fence line. And we looked and we thought, yeah, you could, from that position, they opened that place up and we were able to go back up there and you could see it. We ran a couple of tests and fired off a few shots, and that's always fun. If you want to have a good time, take a rifle to Dealey Plaza and fire off a few shots without the tourists knowing what the hell is happening. And the Dallas police, by the way, were tremendous during the course of that. But
when did you guys do this?
We did this a while back for a show called America Declassified, which isn't running anymore, but it was on Travel Channel.
Jesse Ventura did that. He went up there with a Mannlicher Carcano, same rifle, and he was like, "This is an impossible shot. No one could make this shot. It can't be done. Can't be done." And I love Jesse. I think he's awesome. But I'm like, he wants everything to be a conspiracy.
Right.
He's significantly on that side to the point where he's leaning always towards a conspiracy.
Yeah, what you want to do is every investigation. This company that I've got, we do a lot of investigations. And you've got to build, just like with a homicide case or anything else, you've got to build it on stable ground, right?
Right.
So you have to start from the very basics, because if you start building ideas and investigative inquiries on something that's not sturdy underneath it, not based on evidence and fact, then you got a problem. The whole thing becomes suspect and usually comes toppling down. So, you got to keep an open mind about all these things, and I think it's important. Right now, people are going, "Oh, well, I'm sure that the CIA was involved, so I'm a terrible source of information." I've heard that before. I said, you can't talk credibly about this because, the CIA was involved.
But here's the thing. If the CIA was involved, it's not you. You weren't there in 1962.
The last time I checked, I was not there in 1962. And also, I will tell you this much.
Or was it 63?
It was 63. 63. If the agency had been involved, this is the honest to God's truth, there's no way that secret is still kept. People can't keep their yap shut. They can't. And secrets have a way of coming out, and certainly a lot quicker now than they used to. So
now. But,
the idea.
but
Yeah.
the secrets then, I mean, we're talking about so long ago. How much? I mean,
Yeah,
we're talking about more than 50 years ago. Like,
It's like, you know, it's
would
like
get out?
It's like the D.B. Cooper issue. My biggest reason for believing D.B. Cooper died and his chute is hanging out a tree, and that's a vast wilderness up there.
Yeah.
Is that people just they can't help themselves. At some point, people talk, or somebody talks, somebody associated with, or someone nearby, or somebody involved, or somebody on their deathbed, or somebody says something they shouldn't have. It's, you know, the idea that they've maintained this sort of secret over a period of time, I find hard to believe. I'm not discounting it entirely. I mean, again, you've got to leave a little space open for something that could be just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, anyway, so that was that. But I agree. That shot was not a tough shot.
81 meters ain't shit. That's nothing.
And particularly in those conditions. And I will say, those conditions were ideal, unfortunately, for that event.
But people are like, there's a video of me shooting a fucking hard drive at 100 yards. A hard drive.
You must have hated that hard
drive.
drive.
On the edge. Oh, we were just getting rid of some hard drives. We thought it'd be fun to take it to the rifle range. So I take it to the rifle, and obviously we're dealing with modern rifles. They're probably more accurate. But I'm shooting something that's basically 2 inches high, laying it down on the ground at 100 yards and blowing it to smithereens.
Yeah.
That's how accurate a rifle is at 100 yards. You tell me he couldn't get a headshot at 81 meters? That's crazy.
Again,
of course he
no
could.
wind.
Of course he could.
Good light.
Did he, though?
Did he? That's right. Yeah.
That's the
and also
question.
the other question is, you know, we have some pretty good indications as to what he was thinking and what his motivations were, and that's important.
Well, he definitely was in with the Russians.
Right.
He definitely was involved in a lot of weird shit with communism.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what his entire full background was, because there was a lot of covert shit going on.
Right. And did he express a desire to do something like this to the Russians at some point, and they, you know, thought, okay, well, here's an interesting opportunity.
Right.
Well, yeah, they would have sparked on that, and they would have thought about it. Would they have actually, you know, no play on what's intended, but would they have pulled the trigger on an operation trying to push him into doing an act like this?
Maybe.
No, indirectly through the Cubans, exactly.
Especially if they thought, like, this crazy fuck might go ahead and do this for us.
Yeah. So,
and this is after the Bay of Pigs. People have to realize there was a lot of people pissed off at Kennedy. We lost a lot of people.
Khrushchev hated
everybody.
Khrushchev hated Kennedy.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, that infamous video where he's banging his shoe down the table, "We will bury you."
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was the environment was right for them. And again, the Russians, it shouldn't be any surprise to anybody when you talk about what they did during this election. I mean, they've been doing this forever. You know, you go back to 1940s, and the Russians were, you know, spending a lot of time, effort, and money here in the States trying to keep us out of the war back before Hitler invaded Russia, when they were allied with the Nazis still. So they spent a lot of time. They set up, you know, independent associations, supposedly. They paid off a lot of unions and union members. They, you know, journalists. I mean, they were doing everything they could to create this, or to strengthen the idea of isolationism, just to keep us out. They've been doing this for as long as they've been around.
Right.
So anybody who says, well, I can't, you know, it's shocking the Russians would be engaged in this, it's ridiculous.
They've always been engaged.
Yeah.
And we, by the way, have been engaged doing that with them.
What?
That's what I hear.
I've
heard that online.
I find that
Alex Jones
hard to believe.
You know, the thing that bothers me the most about the Kennedy assassination is the universal support for the magic bullet theory. I think that fucking bullet is ridiculous. I've shot things. I've shot a lot of things. I know what happens to bullets. Everybody that I know that's a marksman, everybody know that's a hunter, they see a bullet that has hit bone. It fucking never looks like that. When a bullet goes through two people and comes out looking like you shot it into a pool of water, that's what it looks like. I don't buy that at all. And the convenience of finding it on Connolly's gurney when they roll him into the hospital. Oh, look, guys, we found the bullet.
Got it.
And it's perfect. I don't buy that for a fucking second. And the problem is there's more metal fragments in Connolly's body than were missing from the bullet itself. I think that bullet itself, look at that bullet. Get the fuck out of here. That thing didn't hit shit.
No, that's exactly right.
I've argued with this with people that have never shot guns, and they go, well, actually, just proven that broke bones.
Yeah.
When a bullet breaks bones, they get fucked. Well, it's a jacketed bullet. When a jacketed bullet breaks bones, it gets fucked.
Yeah.
You're talking about something that's going. I mean, how fast does a bullet from that rifle go? It's got to be.
Kind of that would be an interesting thing to pull up, but
I would imagine it's in the thousands of feet per second. It's got to be. When it hits bone, it's going to blow all over the fucking place.
But the point being is, well, there's always distortion, even if you're, you know, I mean, I don't buy that. When you have a conversation about this, and it is somebody who has no shooting experience, or, you know, it just, you think, all right, that's fine. I understand why you're fascinated by it, but when you do your research, it's like with news. Read everything, right? Read the Wall Street Journal, read the New York Times, read the Financial Times, read the Economist, but read everything.
Yes.
Before you form your opinion, right? And everybody's so siloed nowadays, and you get the same thing with conspiracy theories. I absolutely believe this, and I'm gonna discount everything else that's out there.
Yeah.
Or just not pay any attention to it. Yeah. But
it's hard to say. And here's another thing: the magic bullet path. People are like, well, how is that possible? Well, let me tell you something. That's the most believable thing about the magic bullet theory, is the path of the bullet. Because bullets do wacky shit when they hit bone, and you can't predict it at all. I know a guy who, in Iraq, they shot a guy in the head from the front, and it went out his eyeball. The bullet came out of his eyeball back forward.
Yeah.
It ricocheted inside of his skull and came out his eye.
Yeah. You can't. I mean, again, you can't. You're right. You can't predict it. That's right. To model these things and figure out it. But there's an unknown there, and so yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that again, it's one of those things where it's never going to get resolved, and it's going to continue to live on because it was such an important event in the history of the country. And B, I keep going back to that same thing. People don't want to believe that really awful shit can happen sometimes in a very simple, straightforward way. And so it's much easier to think it was a broad-based conspiracy. There were lots of moving parts. Sometimes bad shit happens, and it's just as simple as it seems.
That is possible. Conversely, people don't like to believe in conspiracies, especially when it's involved in an assassination of a president.
Right.
The reason why they came up with the whole magic bullet theory in the first place is pretty shady. In fact, the reason why they did is because the guy got hit by a ricochet underneath the overpass, and they blamed that bullet on one of the shots from Lee Harvey Oswald in the book depository. So they said, well, all right, so now we have less bullets that could have hit Kennedy. We have all these wounds, and we have to attribute a series of wounds to one bullet.
Right.
And so that was the thought process behind it. But the Zapruder film was the one that got people weirded out by it. But I'll tell you what, man, I've watched that film a bunch of times. And one of the things that don't jive is if he did get hit from the front, his head goes back to the left, why does the blood spray out forward? See, it's weird the way the impact of the blood is. It's like the blood sprays forward and then his head goes back into the left. It could have possibly been that he was hit from the front and the back at the same time. That's entirely possible. I mean, that is a tactic you would do, right? You would roll someone into an area where they would be in a crossfire and they would get shot from both sides.
If they came in, if the grassy knoll was in fact a second site for a shooter, then by the time it hits that corner and starts its path just before the shots were fired from the book depository in Oswald, if you're going with that, if you had another shooter up on the grassy knoll, you were basically looking right at the front of the vehicle, and because of the way that it's positioned and the knoll's kind of turned, and then it's just that there's not a lot of concealment up there, right? And they had the fence, the picket fence. It's not the original one that's there anymore, but it's basically in line with it. And there's plenty of pictures of the previous fence that was up there at the time. And you did have the train yard engineer report sometime after the fact that he saw a puff of smoke, that he wasn't quite sure what that was all about, and he'd seen a couple of people back there. So that's an interesting thread to pull on, right? And I think that it's been researched ad nauseum. Doesn't mean you couldn't still find something.
Right? It also doesn't mean anybody's going to really find a conclusion after the fact.
Right.
Especially today.
Yeah, no, and that's right. And it's like everything else. As time marches on, you lose witnesses, you lose people that were there on site.
And then even witnesses. When someone gets shot, especially when the president gets shot,
not credible.
You'll have 5 different stories from 5 different people, and gunshots heard from the moon. Nobody knows what the fuck's
just from a robbery, just from a street crime. Yeah, a car accident. You say, what did you see? If you separate people out, you're right. You get 5 different versions from 5 different people.
Yeah.
And so eyewitness accounts tend not to be particularly credible, and you've got to you've got to take them, and then you've got to match it up with other information you can pull together forensically. But
I was just about to take a break too.
Here's a guy we expect to go early, the Bud Knight. Take a look at him, folks. Clocking a blistering 40, horseback and otherwise. Excellent decision making. A complete athlete and a heck of a leader on the field. The perfect first-round draft pick for any team.
Haven't had any solid food yet. This is the first solid thing I ate this morning. I normally take a I just kind of lied. My protein shake, I put a banana and a scoop of peanut butter in that shit. So I had that a couple hours ago. But I'll probably wait till like, what time is it? I gotta eat something before 12 o'clock. I got some leftover Chinese food. A cup of milk and a cup of coffee. You know, it's good to take liquids in first thing anyway. Like normally when I wake up, I drink a bottle of water. Just put some water on my stomach. Then when I'm at the gym, I probably drink like 2 or 3 more bottles of water. And then I drink that protein shake when I come home. And then I eat solid food for lunch. Or well, I snack like this first. But I was listening to this one African like dietitian or something. But even if you ever listen to Malcolm X show, he even say that shit like, was that in the book? I probably read that in his biography, but it's like a part of the black Muslim custom was, you know, not to eat breakfast. Like like you said, in the morning you can have like some tea or some coffee or something, but not to really eat solid food, because the morning you only want to break your fast. You know what I'm saying? That's why you eat. They call it breakfast, because when you go to sleep, you're fasting because you're not eating anything for hours. So it's like a mini fast. You let your body kind of like detoxify itself and break down all that shit. But in the morning, you break your fast. But it should only be done with like liquids and shit, so you don't weigh yourself down, and then your body has to put so much energy into fucking trying to digest some food first thing in the morning, just that by fucking noontime you're already slow and sluggish and shit. And he's like, yeah, even Malcolm X was like, not to eat solid food for breakfast. It's hard though, cause shit, I like pancakes and waffles and grits and eggs, turkey bacon. Damn. I might go fix me an omelet. I might have to go fix me an omelet. Kanye West said, I love Trump. Too lazy to eat. Put all my food in the blender. Yeah, these raisins are the shit though. They taste just like fucking taste kind of like Starburst, yo. Sour strawberry. Yeah, it was like tastes like Starburst. But they're fucking raisins. How you make raisins taste like candy? What kind of magic is this? I eat like 3 or 4 boxes of them shits if I don't be careful. And a good Mott's. It's that 100%. Get that white grape in there. Boy, that shit is refreshing. Sweaty palms. You know what I'm saying? I have done some wildlife paintings. You know what I'm saying? I painted some horses one time. That is about as wild as my wildlife has ever gotten, man. But, you know what I'm saying? I'll leave that to the people who love animals like that. Cause shit, let me get some money. I'm getting me a fur coat. Fuck Peter. You know what I'm saying? Leave the wildlife to the people who love the animals. Shit. Let me get some money. Fur everything. Have me a fur bathing suit. When I get in the water, that shit just lay there. A big audience? for wildlife? Yeah, there is. And still lifes. Bro, I got this thing, man. Like, if I paint teapots, I can sell teapots easy. For some reason, people like teapots. I'm from South Carolina, and down there, people are country as fuck, and they like roosters and hens and shit. Even one of our college teams is the Gamecocks. And I knew this one artist, and he said every time he paints a rooster, somebody buys that shit. And I was like, damn. But he says he hates fucking painting roosters. I'm so tired of painting these goddamn birds. That's why I just make prints of these shits now. So you gotta have that trade-off, man. Do you want to sell art? Or do you want to feel good when you make art? Now, I could probably do some wildlife paintings for a bigger audience that would sell more. But would I feel good painting that? Yeah, I don't know. I've done a landscape painting before. I've tried everything, you know what I'm saying? I painted cars, painted birds, painted horses, trees, lakes, flowers. I like painting people. People are beautiful. People make me believe that there is something powerful in this world that connects all of us together. And then you can look into a person's eyes and you can see yourself, or parts of yourself. And we're all connected and we're all important. No, we can't all be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but we are still just as important as Donald Trump or Kanye West. And I like that, because I like feeling important, and I like making people feel like they're important. You know, animals, you can't make animals feel like they're important, especially not wildlife. Most of the time, people shoot wildlife or try to conserve wildlife by putting it in cages and calling it a zoo. So, you know, I'll stick with painting people, because people are the wildest animals I've ever met. You know what I'm saying? You can talk to a dog, he'll just look at you funny. You talk to a person, these motherfuckers actually talk back. That shit is amazing. The Bob Ross edition. I was in New York City, seeing 2 white kids, 2 black kids. That sounds like the beginning to a very racist joke that may or may not have a funny ass punchline. So I hope this is like a Dave Chappelle type joke and not what's Sarah Silverman type joke. Me and my dog have a great understanding, by the way. The last dog I had was fucking awesome. Diamond, she was smart as shit. And that just, did that sight of those people talking, did that make you feel all warm and fuzzy in your heart? That's a good thing. Now, if you smoke some dank, it'll make you feel all warm and fuzzy in your head. Can we all just get along? I've had a dream where little white girls and little white boys can sit in Applebee's and order $1 Long Island iced teas during happy hour. Like they were lifelong friends. I have had a dream. I've seen a mountaintop. Yeah, cause you the hoe. You know? Cause you the hoe. You ain't gonna see that in Idaho, cause you the hoe. But is it art? It's coming along nice. Let me try to work on his hand for a little bit longer. Capture that hoe.
And voila, ready. Okay.
I just like the sound.
Bozy.
I just like the sound.
Get the God of War PS4 Pro bundle.
Power, this weapon, any weapon, comes from here. But only when tempered by this. By the discipline, the self-control of the one who wields it.
Rated M for mature.
Perfect for felling trees. Or trolls.
Charge your way to glory with the Death's Vow armor set and the Exile's Guardian shield. Receive a digital art book, digital comic book, and PS4 dynamic theme. The God of War Digital Deluxe Edition, only at PlayStation Store.
PlayStation.
For some, true confidence comes naturally. With L certified by Lexus, it comes.
There are 4 things all IndyCar drivers have in common.
Travis is going to skip their commercials. Boy, think about that money, boy.
guy we expect to go early, the Bud Knight. Take a look at him, folks. Clocking a blistering 40, horseback and otherwise. Excellent decision making. A complete athlete and a heck of a leader on the field. The perfect first round draft pick for any team.
The $12.99 Papa's Meal Deal presents 12.99 seconds of better play.
This is a harmonic beat.
Alright, that's the skin tone done for right now. I'm gonna take a little break and grab something to eat. It's almost noontime. And then alright. I'm gonna oh shit, I missed a couple text messages. Alright, what I was saying? Oh yeah. Take a break and grab something to eat. I gotta go drop a painting off somewhere real quick. But when I get back, when I stream later on this afternoon, I'm gonna start working on that shirt. Ouch. God damn it. But yeah, this is gonna be the last piece in the for the Dank series. I'm excited to get this series wrapped up, but I'm not gonna like rush my way through it. So I'm gonna just take my time like I have been. Oh shit, dude. Fucking bones is cracking. And yeah, so this should be a pretty good fucking series. Oh man. Yeah, I appreciate everybody stopping by and checking me out, yo. Watching the progress on these paintings right here. And if this is your first time to the stream, definitely follow and subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with all the projects. I'm always in here. I'm always painting. This is what I do, yo. So if you like art, if you like education, if you want to see some more dope ass paintings, and yeah, subscribe to the channel and definitely follow me on one of my links, and so you can look through the rest of the paintings that I've already done. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here, guys. Peace. Till next time.